Come on in, guys. Type in freedom now, freedom now. Excellent. Thank you so much for being with me today. It is Monday, October 6th, and we're going to be talking about some immigration news and go through some of your good news story and answer some immigration questions about your pathway to a legal, lawful, permanent status in the United States. So come on in and type in freedom now. If you're joining from Chicago, say I'm unfortunately I'm in Chicago. If you're joining from New York, let me know. New York, Florida, California, Portland, Oregon. If you're joining from Oregon, type in your location, just your city, and say freedom now, freedom in Portland, freedom in Chicago, freedom in New York, freedom now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe in immigration freedom. And if this is the country that you have said that you'd like to set up shop and live your life here in the United States, well, we like to help you to make it happen. We work on all different types of cases. Reach out to us at McBean Law at 914-898-9488 or email us at info@mcbeanlaw.com, and someone on my team will reach out to you and schedule a consultation. I'm in my office, and our team is here working. And I'm realizing, let's shift this over just a little bit. Our team is here working, and we are changing lives. So contact us at McBean Law to discuss your immigration problem. And if there's a way under the law that we could assist you, we will let you know during your consultation. Now, today I have some news to share with you about USCIS's war on fraud. USCIS has declared war on immigration fraud. We're going to dive into that. And I'll also touch base with you guys about the H-1B visa $100,000 fee and where things are at with this. Some are calling it extortion. Okay. We'll talk about where things are at with that. I'll also give you a brief update about the unaccompanied minors issue or problem that I brought to your attention urgently on Friday. And then I'll end this segment with a free resource that those of you who are here in the New York City area will be able to benefit from. Okay. This is our resource of the week that we're sharing with you in today's broadcast. So come on in, pull up a chair, say freedom now, and say what city you're joining from today. Now let's get into USCIS's war on immigration fraud. Okay. Now, you guys might have heard about the fact that USCIS launched a big investigation in Minneapolis just recently, and they issued also a press release about it. And it's the first of its kind, and it's an operation targeting alleged immigration fraud in Minneapolis, St. Paul, reviewing over 1,000 immigration cases. Now, if you could just wrap your mind around this for a moment, this is USCIS, the benefit approving organization within the Department of Homeland Security that had pulled together quite a bit of resources and said, let's just go into this one city and look at all of these files, look at all of these cases that were filed out of Minneapolis, and let's see what we can find. They called this Operation Twin Shield, and it involved USCIS as well as the FBI. And they conducted their work between September 19th to the 28th of September, and immigration officers discovered suspected fraud in 275 cases in the Minneapolis area. According to this press release, it also says that they focused on more than 1,000 cases that had fraud or ineligibility indicators. They conducted over 900 site visits. Yes, they are still doing site visits to either a person's home or it could be a site visit to a job site. If you're a student on the F1 visa, it could even be to your dorm. If you're on H1B, it could be to your work site, which they've started doing more of those site visits. If you're on OPT STEM, they're visiting you as well to see what's going on and whether you are committing fraud. Whether you've changed employers, changed addresses, they're looking for all of those details. And certainly in marriage cases, they're looking for marriage fraud. According to USCIS, I think my audio is strong on all platforms. My colleague says volume is great on all platforms, including Instagram. We finally got it right today, Instagram. Now, where am I? So USCIS conducted all of these site visits and in-person interviews, and they found evidence of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety or national security concerns in 275 cases. 44% of those cases, they interviewed. They interviewed those individuals, and they issued notice to appear in immigration court. They also referred some people to ICE. In 42 cases, they were referred over to ICE for further enforcement activities. And out of all of that, all of that coordinated big effort, they arrested 4 people. Okay. And then the press release says USCIS expects data on NTAs, referrals to ICE, and adverse adjudicative actions to increase as more administrative investigations are completed. So they're going to continue to do more digging. This is in Minneapolis. I'm not certain why they decided to start there, but they have promised that they will be going city by city and having put in a lot of resources, targeting a lot of resources in one place to see what they could find. And according to the director of USCIS, he says here, USCIS is declaring an all-out war on immigration fraud. All-out war. You know, this is the time of war, right? This is the administration of war. War, war, war. That's what we keep hearing every day. And now USCIS says that they're at war as well against immigration fraud. And he goes on to say here that immigration fraud undermines the integrity of our lawful immigration system, harms those who follow the law, and poses risk to national security and public safety. Under President Trump, we will leave no stone unturned. What city is next? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to look to next. If you guys have heard anything about where they're going to go next and do a deep dive, put it, share that information certainly with the rest of us. I don't know where they're going to go next. And just know that they're going to do the city by city review to find fraud. And they're sending folks to immigration court through the NTA process. Others are being referred over to ICE. Some others will be arrested outright. And so, guys, what can you do now in light of this? First of all, you need to protect your immigration case if you have a case. Keep copies of all of your immigration filings and receipts. If you've received a notice to appear in immigration court or a request for evidence, act immediately by working with an immigration attorney. You could work with someone locally there, or you could work with someone locally, or you could work with someone, maybe us in New York. Okay, we're in White Plains, New York. Just want to make sure that my audio here. We're in White Plains, New York, but we work virtually with clients across the United States. But whatever decision you make, you do what you've got to do to protect your immigration case and get some legal help. Know your rights as well. Do not open your door to immigration officers without a warrant signed by a judge, and you do have that right to remain silent and speak with an attorney. People ask me all the time, what can I do to help? What can I do to help in a time like this? Support a local organization that is serving an immigrant population, okay, that is doing good work with immigrants, because those organizations have lost their federal lifeline. They have lost a lot of funds from the federal government, and so they're just hanging on. And so if you know of a good local organization, nonprofit that is working with the immigrant community, start by supporting them. I will be sharing more information about nonprofits that are working on the litigation side of things, who are pushing back, trying to get these policies stopped. Those are more on the national level, and I'm going to share those with you. That I think the organizations I think you should consider supporting financially, because they have lawyers who are doing that hard, heavy lifting work that will benefit immigrants around the country. So stay tuned for that. I might share that list in my stories maybe today or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that information, but certainly support those on the local level in your community, and continue to share these videos and other videos that others are putting out there to inform the public about their rights. So share and give to those local organizations, and certainly look at the organizations that I will share with you guys later on today. Okay, now the next issue is this, and this is kind of a good news. Maybe you know it's still early, but it's this is just a follow-up on the H-1B visa $100,000 fee that I think I'm going to have to do something else here with this one. Maybe I'll put it here. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to have any problems here today with the mic, because this is Instagram. You guys have been through it already. No more problems, right? Okay. So this is the $100,000 fee. Um, a lawsuit has been filed. Finally, you remember I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that they were seeking plaintiffs. They have found plaintiffs. Thank you guys for sharing that information. I don't know if any of the work that I did contributed to any of you guys being part of this. I don't know. But anyway, a powerful coalition of unions, universities, religious groups, and employers, they filed a federal lawsuit in San Francisco to block President Trump's new $100,000 fee on H-1B visa applicants. And this is the first challenge to this new travel ban on H-1B visa applicants. This matters. It matters because the H-1B program, is how U.S. companies bring in highly skilled foreign workers, especially those in tech, healthcare, and education. Many of these workers are scientists, nurses, engineers, and professors fill in jobs that American employers can't easily fill domestically. All right. So this is the lawsuit was filed on Friday, and it includes the United Auto Workers, the American Association of American Professors, and religious organizations. And this is hopefully this is going to do something. Hopefully this will do something. Okay. Hopefully this will do something. I will keep you guys posted on what happens in court with this one. So stay tuned. But just know that this $100,000 fee, the proclamation, is in effect for 1 year until a lawsuit like this one stops it. Okay. Now let's keep going. The next issue that I want to circle back with you about has to do with the unaccompanied minors. I raised an alarm with you on Friday about the fact that the Trump administration is now targeting these young people who enter the United States without a parent or guardian. And they're now being offered $2,500 to leave the United States once they age out of this system that they're under right now. And they're being threatened with being either arrested or having a family member or parent arrested if they do not take this offer. According to Reuters, they break it down this way. The Department of Homeland Security is calling this payment a resettlement support stipend. It applies to unaccompanied minors 14 and older and up, starting with 17-year-olds primarily, children would receive the payment only after an immigration judge approves their voluntary departure and they return to their home country. Mexican minors are excluded from this program. DHS and ICE claim the initiative gives minors a choice and helps reduce overcrowding in shelters. That's what the government is saying. And but there is a lot of concern out there, guys, about this, particularly from a legal and human rights perspective. Folks need to know that if this is one of your children that is potentially impacted by this, they're about to age out, you should speak with an attorney immediately. There are organizations around the country that are also advising these families. So connect with one of these local organizations, legal organizations like KIND or the Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights, and others locally to find out what resources they have at this time to help guide you through this process. I think that's all that I have. And then finally, guys, the resource of the week that I'm sharing, and if you're joining on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see this flyer that the Catholic Charities, they sent to me last week and asked me if I could help them with sharing this information. And I said, oh, of course, of course. So this is the Resettlement Assistance Program that they still have funding for and that you should take advantage of if you're eligible. According to this flyer, it says that the Catholic Charities Community Services Refugee Resettlement Department in New York offers financial assistance if eligible. Um, Let me tell you, first of all, before you guys say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Wait a minute, what's going on here? Here's who's eligible according to this flyer that I'm going to read verbatim, if I can. It's kind of small here on my screen. Aside, if you're eligible based on your status, the following status. Number one, asylum has been granted. Okay, you're an asylee. Okay, or Cuban or Haitian entrant or parolee, Ukrainian humanitarian parolee. Um, then there's lawful permanent resident who previously held one of the statuses that I just mentioned, minors with special immigrant juvenile status, and victims of trafficking, okay, and some others are eligible to receive the assistance, their word, not mine, assistance here. And you should definitely do this, guys, if you fall into one of those statuses and you need the help. Employment assistance, referrals to English classes and educational support, access to public benefits if you're eligible, and some other things like that. So, guys, this is the Catholic Charities Community Services Refugee Resettlement Department in New York that has these great opportunities for people who who hold this legal status, one of those statuses that I've mentioned here. If you'd like more information about this, you can call 212-419-3764. Again, that's 212-419-3764. That's the Catholic Charities. They still have funding to provide these services. A lot of nonprofits no longer have the funding to do these types of things. So please take advantage of this if you're here in the New York area. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the QR code there as well so that you could scan it and go to their website and reach out to them for some assistance. It's available to you. All right, now with that being said, guys, we're going to go into, okay, I'm going to answer some of your immigration questions. Let's just move this here. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Freedom Now. Type in Freedom Now. And thank you guys for being with me on Saturday. Thank you for being with me. I had a live session. You guys are the best. You were available to meet with me on Saturday. Thank you. Let's go back up a little bit. And I have some good news stories here too that you guys have shared. I'll share your good news towards the end of the broadcast. And if you, I'm now noticing that my lighting is really off. I've got to, this has to be fixed. If you guys have good news stories, please share your good news in the comment, and we'll try to grab them and share them with everyone next week. If you've been approved of a green card, if you had a great interview, if you have a work permit now, or if someone you know is a U.S. citizen recently been sworn in, share that information so that we could uplift each other today. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the stars. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so Joanne has said here about organization that we should certainly support organizations that are recognized by the Department of Justice, not those who are doing immigration work illegally. Yes, if you wouldn't mind just shifting it towards this side. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. That's much better, much better. Thank you. Appreciate it. Um, And I agree with what Joanne says here. Joanne, you're absolutely right. You've got to be very careful with who you work with, who you choose to work with in the community. You want to make sure that it is a reputable. Let's just do this. You want to make sure that it is a reputable organization that you're working with. Okay, one that is a 501c3 organization, one that has a website, one that has history, one that has a good reputation, because there are a lot of bad actors out there in the community. So be very careful about the organizations that you choose to work with. But just know, though, however, that a lot of the reputable organizations, they're hanging on for dear life. Many of them no longer have funding to carry out immigration related work. Okay. So your support of those reputable ones is very important, critical at this time. Okay, let's see. I have an asylum interview in the fall. There will ICE be there in at USCIS's office? Sartar is asking. So Sartar, USCIS has already made it clear that they are um, going back to a law enforcement model and posture illegally, because Congress took that away from them after 9/11 when USCIS was set up and separated from the INS. They do not have the legal right to carry out law enforcement activities like they did back in the INS days. That's not what they're supposed to do, but they've basically taken the posture that that's what they will be doing. And I'm really looking forward to a challenge of that too, by the way. So so yes, they are creating more of a law enforcement environment, and you probably will see that when you go in for your asylum interview. In Newark, New Jersey, I've heard that they are arresting people who do go in for an asylum interview who have a criminal, who have an outstanding warrant. Of course, if you have an outstanding warrant, you're at a very high risk level of being detained. Others are fine. They go in for their interview each day and they're okay. They're not having any problems during their asylum interviews. However, what you need to really do is pay very close attention to your declaration. Okay, pay very close attention to your declaration and know your facts inside out with your asylum case. Okay. Um, okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Um, let's see. Let's go up over here. Mm. Someone who has been here for the last 7 years, she has children with someone who is waiting for a green card approval. What can the person do to avoid being deported? So you've been here for the last several years, you have children, you're waiting for your green card case to be processed. What can you do to avoid being deported? You can stay out of trouble, stay out of jail, stay out of being arrested. That is not one of the biggest problems that people have these days, who are trying to go through a lawful process to the green card. It's their criminal record. So you'll be fine, stay out of trouble, and all will be well with your case. All right, hopefully, hopefully. Freedom Now, thank you. Thank you. I see you guys. Thank you. Freedom Now. Our consultation fees are on our website. They start at $300. Callie is asking, do they issue notice to appear NTAs for undocumented people here waiting for an I-130 approval, or usually just when there's a denial? Normally, Callie, it happens after a denial, normally. Can I tell you with much confidence that it's not happening to some individuals who only have an I-130 pending? No, I can't tell you that, because just several weeks ago, USCIS had on its social media pages a case involving a man who has a criminal record and a pending I-130, and he's also in removal proceedings, pending removal. His case has not been, he doesn't have a removal order yet, and USCIS said that during his I-130 interview, they arrested him and they closed his I-130 case, which he can challenge, by the way. They closed that case. Now, this is an individual with a criminal record. That's the case that I mentioned to you guys involving the strangulation arrest. He was arrested for strangulation, and theft, I think, was also on his arrest record. And they just arrested him and closed his case at USCIS. Other people who are getting an NTA through the I-130 process, typically it happens at the very end if an I-130 is denied. But that's how they mainly do it, okay? If that individual has a questionable record. We're still monitoring this. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and we're trying to keep up with these changes. Let's see. Freedom Now, guys. Thank you for being here today with me. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go down. Claudio says, I'm a Venezuelan. My I-485 is in process for the EB3 category, EB3 visa. My TPS will expire on November 7th. Does it matter, or will it affect my case? So, Claudio, the biggest issue certainly is how you entered the United States, that you have a lawful, that you have an entry record that shows that you were somehow inspected, admitted, or paroled into the United States. If that's out of the way, the other issue is, did you have any period of unlawful presence or time here in the United States before they approve this I-485? It can be an issue that once your TPS ends for you and they had not yet made a decision on the I-485 just recently, and not to cause any alarm because we're still trying to analyze the situation, but just recently, immigration, some of my colleagues, some immigration attorneys have been noting that for some individuals who applied for the adjustment of status or the I-485 while they had a lawful status here in the United States, once that lawful status ended for them, USCIS then finally got around to making a decision, looking at their 485 application and then denying it, saying, oh, you went out of status. You went out of status. Now, and then deny that I-485. Now, that is very, very problematic and something that immigration lawyers can challenge. Very, very problematic, because if your priority date was current when you applied for adjustment of status, and you're here, and let's say you had H-1B and your priority date was current when you applied for that 485, you're supposed to get an approval on that I-485, despite the fact that you did go out of status for a brief period of time. like this. So this is something, if USCIS pulls this in your case, does the same thing with you, Claudio, I think you might be able to challenge that, okay? And we're still, this is so new. This is an email that I saw just a couple of days ago um, from attorneys who are experiencing this very problem. My mom's visa was denied. If the visa got denied without a waiver, how can I reopen the case? I am a U.S. citizen. Um, if the visa, what was the reason, Pablo, for her visa being denied? And what waiver does she need? And also, where is she? Is she here in the United States, or is she back home trying to get a visa to come to the United States? If she needs a waiver, like the I-601 waiver to come to the United States, and she doesn't have a relative like a spouse or a parent who is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, then the U.S. Embassy will not approve the waiver for her. Okay, let's go back here. You guys have some great questions today. My asylum case, this is about an asylum case, was denied 20 years ago. And it looks like this person did a BIA appeal. Can I file a motion to reopen based on the approved I-130 sui sponte? You can look into that. Yes, have an immigration attorney look into whether you can do the motion to reopen. The BIA is getting harder and harder on these issues, of course, but you have a right to try and to see if you can get your case reopened. Okay. Freedom Now, thank you. Thank you, guys. Let's see. I see the test. Thank you, Indira, for sharing your a story here, a good news story. We're going to capture that for next week. Thank you, guys. Drop those good news. Do I think with the DACA briefs filing, we can expect good news for Texas? I do not, unfortunately, expect that things will change with respect to how DACA is being handled with Texas. Texas, according to the litigation, was successful, so to speak, in proving that it has been harmed as a state due to all of the EADs and the workability that DACA recipient in that state has. And so that's why they've been left out of the opportunity to benefit going forward from DACA, the work permit side of things. They've been left out because that state was successful in proving harm. Okay. I have not expected great news regarding DACA in that for Texas. Let's go down a little bit here. Angel is asking, if you have an interview with USCIS at the end of this month, yet you're being detained, what should be done? So first of all, Angel, speak with your lawyer to find out what your risk level is of being detained, because people right now are being interviewed all across the country at USCIS's office, and they're not being detained. Only some people are being detained. So you probably will not be one of them if you do not have marriage fraud on your background, and if you do not have a serious criminal record, and certainly if you do not have an open warrant for your arrest. Okay. Those are the individuals who they are mainly targeting. If you have a removal order, it can be a little bit risky, but I can't say that we have not seen, I could speak only from what's on our docket. We have not seen any of our removal clients with an I-130 case arrested by USCIS at an I-130 interview. We have not seen that happen quite yet. That has not been our experience. As far as other attorneys' experience is concerned in that area, I can't speak to that quite yet. I really can't. Okay, let's go, guys. Freedom Now, and double tap the screen on TikTok. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm Latoya McBean. Today and always. I will be Latoya McBean Pompey, right? I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. You can find our contact information in the bio. Okay. Um, I'm a Fatsoda says on Instagram, I am married to a U.S. citizen for a little less than 2 years, and I've received my green card with a condition. Do I apply for citizenship since I will be eligible 3 years, or do I apply for removal of conditions? So, Fotsora, don't mess this one up, and I'll try my best not to mess this one up with my response too, because it's I want to get this right. So, once you get your 2-year green card, the next step is for you to apply for removal of conditions, the I-751, with your spouse if you're still together. If you're no longer together with your spouse, consult with an attorney about doing a waiver process on your own. But you've got to file the I-751 removal of conditions and before you think about naturalization, okay? The naturalization happens at the 3-year mark of being a resident. Then you're able to seek early naturalization for the for citizenship, for naturalization. Wealth Alley 85 says, thank you for helping me to get my permanent 10 years green card. Well, awesome. Congratulations. It sounds like a former client of ours. Thank you guys for still following. If you've worked with us at McBean Law, thank you for being here today. That's great. Congratulations. You're very welcome. Let's go. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Easily is asking on YouTube, he says, I overstayed my visitor visa and I got married earlier this year. How long do you think I will get through with my paperwork? So easily, if you filed your paperwork through your U.S. citizen spouse, that process these days that process is moving very quickly. So for some people, it's under a year that they are getting through. For others, it could take a little bit longer than a year. It will also depend on where in the country you are and how strong of a case you've prepared for immigration and whether they're going to call you in for an interview or not. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Can you talk about DACA? Carla is asking. So Carla, yes, with regard to DACA, we had gotten good news, and I've seen the video in which someone said, DACA is not back. I said, oh, I know she's talking about me. DACA, she started her video, DACA is not back. Whereas McBean started her video, DACA is back. Okay, so DACA is back. Okay, DACA is back. Um, Recently, the federal government said that in court documents, here's what the federal government plans on doing. And they made it very crystal clear that initial DACA applications will be processed again, and they will be providing the public with information about how to update your address. If you live in Texas, unfortunately, you will not be eligible for the work permit. You will have deferred action only, and unfortunately, you would also be losing you would begin to accrue unlawful presence, unfortunately, if you're in Texas. Everyone else outside of Texas will be eligible to get a work permit, and they will not be accruing unlawful presence while they're here with DACA. And that's very important for long-term planning for a green card. So update your address with the government. If you had DACA in the past, if you had it in the past, and then you allowed it to lapse because you didn't renew it on time, and so when you submitted an application, it was late, and now it's considered initial, like a new process starting all over again. Your application got held up with this 4-year litigation, and the government is saying that they are going to start pushing those forward. They're going to adjudicate them. So some people will be getting a biometrics notice if that's where, obviously they're going to need updated fingerprints on most most of you, right? Most of the applicants. And renewals are still going to be processed as normal until things shift a little bit with this litigation. So renewals are still going to happen and the initial applications will move forward. Check with an immigration attorney to see whether you're, or a nonprofit organization, because DACA is not rocket science. Check, read for yourself what those eligibility requirements are. It's very crystal clear on the government's website and other resources. And if you're eligible for it, you might have missed it the first time around, but don't miss it again. Just go ahead and submit that application. Us at McBean Law, we're working on this. We're taking in new DACA cases. And I know some attorneys feel differently. Others are like us. They're saying, we're ready to go. We're doing intake on new DACA applicants. Let's go. Others are saying, well, we're going to be cautiously, optimistic about things, and we're not going to accept your case until, some things happen this month. That's their decision to make. We're independents. Okay. So that's what you need to know about DACA. Thank you so much for that. I hope that answered your question. Freedom now. Freedom now. Thank you, guys. Our interviews for marriage-based green cards still being waived. Some interviews are being waived. Some are being waived. Do you see a lot of people getting apprehended at master calendar hearings? Wallace is asking. No, we do not. We've not been seeing it on our end. I see it just like you do through these videos, horrific videos on TikTok, and sometimes on Instagram of individuals going to Manhattan in particular, Manhattan. And it's happening in other parts of the country, but not on the scale like it is in Manhattan in New York City. What I understand to be happening in Manhattan, and I might have shared this publicly. I shared it on Saturday, I think, to those of you who joined me on Saturday, is that what they're looking for in Manhattan, what ICE is looking for, is whether you have an arrest on your record, arrest. And if you do have an arrest, that's the flag that they're using to label you as a criminal alien. And those are the ones who they're looking to really target for arrest once they walk out of that courtroom. Criminal aliens, arrests. You might be saying, well, my case was dismissed. I was arrested, but it was dismissed. Arrests. That's the information that I got last week from a meeting with other immigration attorneys last Monday, an ILA meeting, okay? Let's see, let's go back up here. So, but we have not been seeing it happen on our side. I just got, Ernest says, if I just got bonded out from ICE custody, can my wife still file for me? And I did not get any court date. So if you were once detained by ICE and you're no longer detained, you've been bonded out, of course, we would be looking at all options available for you, including if you're eligible through a marriage-based process for a green card. Okay, so you could speak with an immigration attorney about that, Ernest. Thank you guys for being here with me. Let's go down a little bit. Kima says, my husband received his 2 years conditional green card and he wants to travel. Do I need to travel with him for this first time? That's so cute, right? Do I need to go with him? Do I need to, if only if he's going to someplace really amazing, right? Like, let's say he's going to Jamaica or Barbados. If he's going to someplace nice, travel with him. Just say, honey, I need to make sure that everything goes smoothly. No, you don't need to travel with him. The government doesn't require that, okay? He should be fine. So long as he is not in removal, which he's not, sounds like, he will be okay. That's cute. I like that question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question in all these years of doing this. That's good. But I could understand why Kima is asking that. That's cute. Okay, let's see. Double tap the screen, guys. Do me the favor so that this will go a bit further on TikTok. Let's see. My green card, someone is saying green card with marriage, it's been 2 years at the benefits center. What do I recommend? Who's the petitioner? Is the petitioner a green card holder or a US citizen? Because 2 years might very well be normal for a green card holder petitioner. In some marriage cases, when it's a US citizen who filed or who petitioned, 2 years could be reasonable as well, depending on the location that you're living in, and also whether the government is doing further investigation or background check into your case. What about, Anthony is asking, what about VAWA cases? Are they affected by what's going on? How has things been with VAWA processing times since Trump became president? So VAWA is still on a 3-year timeline for processing. What else do you need to know? Oh, the only thing that I've heard that's a little different is the receipts. It's taken a lot longer to get these receipts and work permits, of course, with the humanitarian cases. Those have slowed down. And also, there are some interviews happening with VAWA cases, but that started under Biden. Um, I was in the United States before I came. Okay, I don't understand that. I'm going to skip over that. I was trying. I really was. I saw the question and I was trying to piece it together in my mind, and I pulled it up on the screen and I realized it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. You might want to reframe that. Um, quick question that the car is asking. Are there any risk for Indian people with green cards without any record of criminal activity or traffic tickets and they pay their taxes on time? I have not seen a discrimination or any targeted discrimination towards Indians in who are green card holders. I understand now that there is targeted discriminatory action by USCIS with Indians with regard to Indians who are on OPT STEM. They are being targeted for site visits and a lot more scrutiny into things. But as far as Indians with green card holders, there's really nothing that's happening to my knowledge at this time. Thankfully, hopefully never, right? Hopefully never. Hey there, Arlene. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Freedom now. Freedom now. Okay. Bunny says, I overstayed my visa, no criminal record. I have a partner who will apply for citizenship in March of 2026. Do you recommend to marry her now and wait till she becomes a citizen? Freedom now. So, Bunny, feel free to marry whoever you want, your partner, whenever you choose to do that. That's your timeline, your decision to make. Now, after you've made that decision, that good decision, soon, after you've made that decision, the you're here in the United States without status, and if she puts it, if your partner files under her green card, your case will just be there waiting in the the backlog until the government gets around to it. I think these days it's still the right thing to do to for some people to wait until your partner is a citizen to do adjustment of status, and that way you're touching immigration that one time, and get your green card through adjustment of status. But it also depends on other factors that you have going on there. For some people, they don't want to wait. They want to have an I-130 receipt notice saying, at least I have something to show immigration in the event that, you know, something adverse happens. I have something to show that I'm on track. So some people feel that way. And so for that reason, they would go ahead with a filing sooner rather than later. Freedom now. Okay, let's see. Let's go down a little bit. All right, let's go. Let's go. Does the juvenile visa still exist? Yes. the special immigrant juvenile status SIJ does exist. Let's go down a little bit. Is that it? No, there's more. Thank you, Leader DRC. I see that. I appreciate your vote of confidence. Um, let's do, I think I could go this way. Oops, wrong way. Trying to, okay, there we go. When is the best time for someone who got a green card through VAWA to file for citizenship once you become eligible for it and you had obtained that VAWA? Um, I might have a filter on here on once you obtain uh, if you had obtained your green card, you had a smooth VAWA process. I think I might have made a mistake here, guys, on Instagram. Uh, there's always something going on. I guarantee you, I am not wearing this much makeup today. Instagram is all messed up now. Okay, let's go back to YouTube where I look normal. I'm just kidding. Guys, lighten up a little bit. Let's laugh. Let's laugh, okay? What is the cost to submit a citizenship application? Um, for us, we don't talk about our attorney fees publicly. Let's talk one-on-one where we could understand what's on your background, okay? And then we'll quote you the fee during your consultation. I have an NTA with a pending asylum case. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I entered illegally. How can I terminate my removal proceedings? Um, okay, so terminating the removal case is going to be it could be a very challenging thing now. It is a very challenging thing now today. It really is. Um, you will need an approved I-130 from USCIS, okay, to show that you have someone here who is eligible to petition you for a green card. The challenge, though, with your case is that you will not be able to get the green card here through the spouse through adjustment of status because, as you've noted here, your entry was illegal. And so the government has a process that will route you back to your home country. First, if you cannot get your removal proceeding terminated, it's an I-212 waiver, and you'll need an I-601 waiver as well. So work with an immigration attorney on those options. If you know yours is a case where the removal case cannot be terminated, you can do the waiver process. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Um, can someone get married after coming across the border and get married after coming across the border and file for asylum? Carrie Ann, anyone can get married if they chose to, right? The question is it's very similar to what I just told this person here on YouTube. Whether you could get the green card here or not is the issue. And you cross the border, the government will not allow you to adjust your status successfully through that kind of entry process, illegal entry, unless you were paroled into the United States. Okay. Okay, thank you. Can a DACA recipient who is single obtain his green card via his parent, who are both green card holders? So the green card holder parent, it can work, yes. The green card holder parent can file the I-130 for the DACA recipient. It would just depend also actually on whether there's any unlawful presence already on your record, what your next step will be. The process can work out very successfully for that person. And then we would also obviously consider too, how did you enter the United States? Someone said, how do I schedule a consultation? You could schedule a consultation by calling us at 914-898-9488. USCIS, as I've mentioned earlier, has declared a war, okay, a war on immigration fraud. And as a result of that, they are conducting these city by city. They started out with Minneapolis, intense operation, looking at thousands of applications and petitions, doing a lot of site visits in a targeted area and looking to see who they could issue a notice to appear um, uh, to, individuals who they could arrest, individuals who they could take further action against. Okay. And so I don't know which city is next, but that is their all out war on immigration fraud. And they're working with the FBI on this operation. Okay, let's see if I could answer a few more questions before wrapping up today. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, my kids are approved to come to the United States. They're still at the NVC, the Visa Center. What can I do, please? They're approved to come here. They're ensure that everything is prepped properly at the NVC level and that your case gets documentarily qualified. And once it's the cases are documentarily qualified, the children will get an interview at the U.S. Embassy in that country. Any update on TPS for Haiti? Um, I don't think I have one. I'm I don't remember I don't know what's going on right now off the top of my head with that. I thought we had an update just a couple of weeks ago about Haiti TPS. I don't know where things are at right now. I'm sorry. Oops. Oh, I almost lost you guys there on Instagram. I ran into someone church yesterday at church who said to me, "Oh, I was watching you on Friday. I was watching you on Friday." And I said to her, "Oh, when I was live on Instagram?" And she said, "Yeah, and you were having problems." I said, "Gee, thanks." She said, "Yeah, you were having problems." Yeah, I had some problems uh, on Friday. Thank you guys for watching. Let's go back this way. It's easier to see. I'm a green card holder and I filed an I-130 for my husband in 2024. How long will it take? Um, like I've been saying, it's moving a lot faster these days, under a year for most people. But still for others, it takes a long time. Someone is asking me what do I recommend with regard to a denied 42B cancellation of removal. So to get that kind of opinion, you're going to really need not just a consultation, but you'll need us to do a case evaluation where we go a lot deeper. Most people who have a removal order, it's not a bad thing to file an appeal to get that filed within that first 30 days. It really is a good thing to at least do that at a minimum. And then when it comes time for the briefing, then that's when a smart immigration lawyer can write something really good for you if you have anything good to argue, if there's anything there. But that's as far as I can say and go on a forum like today's, okay? So contact us for a one-on-one. Let's see. Uh, Are the laws changed with respect to green card through marriage? Many social media is saying that the laws are changed. Crazy Dog Lady is asking. There has been, I would say that for marriage cases, the government cares still about fraud, so they are drilling down to see if fraud is there. The basics of filing and putting together a marriage case nothing has changed in that regard. It's still, the same evidence list, the same bona fides that they want to see. They're calling in people for an interview, yet they're waiving interviews in some cases. So those steps have not changed. I think what has changed, however, is the fact that the government is being more vocal about the fact that if your I-130 is denied, okay, they're being very vocal about that they are threatening to place individuals in removal and deportation proceedings. And they do have a NTA policy which talks about that. And also they have the social media policy, the anti-Americanism policy that says, well, we're watching, you've got to, if you're on social media, you've got to make your account public so that we can go and look around. Otherwise, your case can be denied if we can't get through to see some things on your social media about how you think and all of that. That does trickle into the marriage cases. The government they care about that. Now, in practice, where you have thousands of people on the ground working at USCIS field offices across the country, can I say that all of them are practicing these types of steps that I've just described here? Absolutely not, because some people will not do it. They're just not going to do it because they just think that they have a basic job to do. They don't want to push it that far. They maybe just want to approve people and feel good about what they do. They just don't, some people just don't want to do that and be like a bad person. I'm looking at the social media. I'm like a communist government. I'm like, some people just don't want to be like that. So it's not across the board. And some people are going in and getting approved for their green cards very easily. Um, whereas some others are encountering, a harder time. Um, let's see, is there any other major change with marriage cases that you need to know about? I think it has primarily to do with the threat around removal and NTAs, notice to appear, and anti-Americanism. If you do have a marriage-based interview coming up, get my course. Great segue. Get my course at McBean at latoyamcbean.mykajabi.com. I have a marriage prep, 1 hour marriage prep course that will walk you through a lot of things, including 100 questions that you should be thinking about and working on with your spouse to prepare yourself for that important interview. We're going to put the link here for that course. Get that course. Guys, I want to segue real quickly before we go into some of the good news that you've shared with us recently. Donna5378 says that my brother-in-law recently received his green card. He's from another country and came to the US with the fiance visa. Then he got married. He was very scared while waiting for the approval. Happy for them. Sharon Dixon 4337 says, I got my citizenship approved and now a citizen in less than 2 years. Anyone that is in the process of applying or waiting to be approved, trust God with all your heart. He will come through for you. Sharon, your name sounds so familiar. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is great. Rashmitha 920 says, my daughter-in-law got her work permit in 3 months and the green card in 6 months. She came to the US in March 2025. That's awesome. Merit Samsak 5593 says, I filed my renewal of my working permit last January 2025 and it was approved last June 2025. Berkeley 5 says, my citizenship interview was approved today. I'm waiting for my oath ceremony confirmation date. God is good. That's great, guys. Congratulations to all of you who were approved. Congratulations. That is awesome. Guys, share this video and information with others. Do your part. Share good information. Give to those local good nonprofits who are trying to just hang on and serve the community that they are serving, the immigrant community. They really need the support at this time because they've lost a lot of their they've lost their federal funds. But be careful about which organization you do support. Make sure that they are a legitimate 501c3 organization. They have some history, they have some credibility, and do your homework before you support those organizations. I will also share resources about organizations that are doing litigation, immigration litigation, that you should really consider supporting their work by spreading their videos, forwarding their posts, sharing their information with your audience so that more people are informed about what they do. And if you choose to give to them, great, because they need to be able to hire more attorneys to do the litigation work that will benefit all of you guys nationwide. So let's work together on the good work that's happening. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Follow me on social media for impromptu live sessions throughout the week. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.